Well, I think from Pakistan's point of view, this is unfortunately the consequence of their own support for terrorism over the years. First on the subcontinent, but in, as I think is generally known, elements of the Pakistani military that have supported Taliban, the Haqqani network, and other.
During your tenure, you have been critical of Pakistan's dual terror policy. Now Taliban are back in Afghanistan. The situation has dramatically changed from what it was when you were there. When you were the national security advisor. Once allies, now both Taliban and Pakistan are on the verge of a full-fledged military conflict. How do you see this situation playing out? Because they are at loggerheads, and there's a lot of blood being spilled across the line.
Well, I think from Pakistan's point of view, this is unfortunately the consequence of their own support for terrorism over the years. First on the subcontinent, but in, as I think is generally known, elements of the Pakistani military that have supported Taliban, the Haqqani network, and other terrorist groups, providing them sanctuary in Pakistan after the Taliban government was overthrown after the 9/11 attacks. So it was always a dangerous move by the government of Pakistan to support terrorist elements. They may have thought it gained them some advantage vis-a-vis India in Kashmir and elsewhere in the conflict between the two countries that's gone on since partition, as you and your listeners know better than I do. But it came back to bite Pakistan when Taliban turned on them. And I would like nothing better than to see the Pakistani government completely renounce support of terrorism and help us and the rest of the world try and restore freedom to the Afghan people and remove this Taliban government. I think it was a huge mistake for the United States to withdraw from Afghanistan. Things haven't gotten better since we left. And I think if Pakistan's really beginning to change its view of Taliban, and not just the top of the Pakistani government, but all elements of the military that have provided support for Taliban, that would be a very dramatic change.
That would be indeed a dramatic change. But right now, of course, they are at loggerheads, the Taliban and the Pakistan authorities and the Pakistan army. But Biden administration has pledged support to Islamabad in its fight against terror. Now, on the other hand, there is Pakistan, which continues to sponsor terrorism in India's Jammu and Kashmir. Should the US perhaps force Pakistan to also act against anti-India groups operating from its soil? Your view on that, sir?
Well, I'm not sure the United States can force them to do it, but this has been a conversation that's been going on for decades. That support by a legitimate government for terrorist groups delegitimizes the government offering that support. It is not a benefit for Pakistan to be giving aid and comfort to terrorists, even if they seem to be accomplishing objectives that the Pakistani government considers to be in its interest. And that's why these changes with respect to Afghanistan, I think, prove that point. Now the Pakistani government has inherited some of the troubles that it perhaps unintentionally, but nonetheless inevitably created for itself.